Okay, boys and girls, today's lesson we're going to be continuing our sentence structures. Today we're going to be focusing on using a or an, as well as using correct punctuation at the start and end of our sentences. First, we will focus on when to use a or when to use an. Before we focus on the rules, first we will need to review our alphabet with the vowels and the consonants. Do you remember which are the vowels and which are the consonants? Don't worry if you do not, because we will check them together now. So if you remember, the alphabet is all of the letters from letter A all the way to letter Z. Let's see how fast Teacher David can do it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Super easy. We've been doing this since K1, so you guys should know the alphabet very well by now. The vowels are the superheroes of the alphabet. There's almost no words in the English language that do not have any vowels. Almost every word has a vowel somewhere. Our vowels are the letters A, E, I, O, U. Mr. A, Mr. E, Mr. I, O, U. If you can remember those 5, boys and girls, and start practicing them correctly, your spelling in English is going to be much better. The consonants is the name for all the other letters in the alphabet. So everything from A to Z minus A, E, I, O, U. So in the list we have B, C, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, so if we minus the vowels, all of the other letters are our consonants. Let's take a quick look at some of the examples in the picture. So for the vowels, we have A for apple, E for egg, I for igloo, O for octopus, and A for umbrella. The consonants, we have many different ones, from ball to house, to rabbit, to web, to zebra, to key, to flower, to lamp. Okay, nice and easy, boys and girls. You should know these letters very well by now. But knowing the difference between the vowels and the consonants is going to help us to know when we must use a or when we must use an. Let's have a look on the next slide. Later in grade 2, you will learn that the name for using a or an is called articles. But don't worry about that for now. Okay, let's look at the examples. A pencil. Remember, a and an show us the number 1. It's a singular use. Okay, a pencil means it's one pencil. We use a before a word with a consonant. So we need to look at the word. What is the first letter? P, pencil. It's the letter P, and that is a consonant. That is when we use the letter A. If the first letter is a vowel, for example, an apple, we use an before a word with a vowel. Again, look at the first letter. An apple, an egg, an igloo. Anytime we see the vowel, that's when we must use an. Later in grade 1 and grade 2, you will learn an extra one, so don't worry about this for now, but it's very helpful to know. The keys. We use the when you are talking about something specific. So if we see 10 apples and teacher asks, please give me the biggest apple, I want you to find me only one apple. I'm talking about a specific one that is the biggest. It's bigger than all of the other apples. Okay, and it's usually when we're talking about one thing in specific. The school. Let's go to the shopping mall. All right, and it's very helpful to know how to use that as well. In the next week, we will definitely be using all three of these, so make sure you think about how we use them in sentences. Next, we're going to be focusing on using the correct punctuation. If you remember, punctuation is using capital letters, commas, full stops, question marks, and many other things that help us to read and understand our sentences easier. Let's have a look at the first one. First, let's look at capital letters. We use capital letters for people's names. For example, teacher David, we always write with capital D. On the picture here, we have Mary, it's a name for a girl. England is a name for a country. And London is the name for a city. We will also always use a capital letter for the names of the months, January, February, March, and all of the rest. Again, we use capital letters for the names of the days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and all of the other ones will always have a capital letter. The most important one is at the beginning of a sentence. Every time we start a new sentence, we must have a capital letter. And of course, the last one after a full stop. So in our sentence, it reads, Mary likes apples, full stop. She eats 5 apples a day. So remember, capital letter shows us the start of a sentence, and the full stop shows us the end of the sentence. And after the sentence ends, we start a new sentence. And the new sentence here, she, the S is capital. We will be practicing this a lot, so make sure you think carefully about where we use our capitals. Most important rule, every sentence must start with a capital letter. You can see the capital A, B, and C. And it must end with a full stop. Remember, boys and girls, one sentence must have a capital, must have a full stop. We have been practicing using commas in a series. So that is when you have 3 or more words in a series, we use the comma to separate the items. These can be nouns or even verbs or even adjectives. Let's look at the example. I need milk, comma, bread, comma, and butter from the store. In this sentence, milk, bread, and butter are all the things we need to buy. And if we put too many together, it's very difficult to read, especially if we say, I need milk and bread and butter and cookies. It becomes very difficult to read. So we replace the word and sometimes with a comma. Sentence 2, those cookies are delicious, delightful, and delectable. These are very big adjectives that help us to describe how the cookies taste. In sentence number 3, will you help me wash the dishes, dust the furniture, and vacuum the living room? Okay, these ones are all verbs. They are actions that we can do, and we're putting many of them together. Again, we use the comma to separate them. 2 important things to remember. After a comma is used, we must leave a space. Okay, when we are writing sentences, boys and girls, between each word, there's a space. But sometimes when people make a mistake, they put a comma, but they do not leave a space before the next word. So always use your finger or your pencil to measure a nice space after the comma. Okay, and remember, a comma is not the end of a sentence. It shows us where we can take a break to breathe and relax. So no capital letter is used after a comma unless you are listing people's names. David, Bob, Sally, and John. We will have a comma and a capital. Next, we will look at the full stop. A full stop is used to show the end of a sentence. And remember, every time you see a full stop, you must stop. The little man says, I must stop at the end of this sentence. The full stop is a small little dot at the end of the word, and we put it at the bottom, almost touching the line. And it shows us the end of a sentence and where we can start the next sentence. Remember, after a sentence ends, we start the next sentence with a capital letter. So if we look at the writing in the black square, A after has a capital. A sentence ends. Full stop, we put a space, and then we start with a new capital W for we. So remember, after a full stop, we must use a capital because it shows the start of a new sentence. Here we have the question mark. A question mark is used for asking. Okay, it is also used at the end of a question, almost the same as a full stop. So Mr. Question mark asks, where is my hat? At the end of it, it shows a question mark. Again, it shows us the end of the sentence, almost the same as a full stop. But it shows us it's a question. We need an answer for the question. We use a question mark in the same way as a full stop. After the question mark, we must use a capital letter for the next sentence. Let's look at the example. May I drink water? Question mark. Remember, space, capital Y. Yes, comma, you may, full stop. Okay, nice and easy. Remember, boys and girls, if you do not understand something, make sure you watch the video again, and if you still do not understand it, make sure you ask the teacher in the live classroom on Friday, and he will help you to understand it a little bit easier. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.